Fine. Okay, so we'll begin with today's class. I welcome you all to this lecture on analog circuits. So this is lecture number 14 of this entire module, or lecture number 44 from your syllabus point of view. And today we're going to discuss about the filters. Of course, in the last class we talked about multivibrators, monostable multivibrator, and I still need to cover a stable multivibrator. So that portion I'll keep it at the end because it is almost similar to the monostable multivibrator. And while dealing with a stable multivibrator, I'll be dealing once again with monostable multivibrator. So that will be a sort of revision to you. So that's the reason I'm keeping it at the end. As compared to your module 4, this module is not that lengthy. Once we begin with the filters, you will come to know that we are going to discuss 3 filters. And as you know that some of the filters name, the low pass filter, high pass filter, and the band pass filters. So these kind of filters implementation we are going to discuss using the op-amp. So that's how you can we can say that these contents will be covered at a quicker pace, and my intention will be to finish off this module within this week, so that as per our course file content for your IA, 2 modules can be kept for your examination, and we can take one class as a revision class wherein I'll be discussing about what are the things that you'll be expected out while getting the examination or while getting the answers. Fine. So let's try to begin with this particular today's lecture. Filters. So before coming into what exactly we mean by first order Butterworth low pass filter, let's get into some of the basics of filter. So basically, a filter or an electric filter is often known as frequency selective circuit. Which means it is going to pass specified band of frequencies, and it blocks specified blocks of specified set of frequencies. So basically, filters are used to ensure we are going to pass some set of frequencies and block some set of other frequencies, or we want to arrange the filter in such a way that we want to pass a band of frequencies and we will rejecting the outside the band of frequencies. So that's the reason it is also called by the name frequency selective circuit. And typically we have 3 categories of filters. One is analog or digital filter. The second one being analog or digital is the first one. The second one being passive or active, or passive and active filters. And the third one being audio frequency filter or radio frequency filter, RF or AF filters. So analog filters, as the name says, they are designed to process the analog signals, while digital filters, they also process analog signals, but they process it using digital techniques. So and also they will be processing the digital signals also. It doesn't mean that digital filters will not process analog signals. They will be processing it, but through the help of some digital techniques. Now, depending on the type of elements that are used in the constructions, filters are categorized in terms of passive or active. With respect to analog and digital, it is with respect to the signals or the nature of signals or the components wise. But when it comes to active and passive, it is basically classified depending on how we are going to use the elements in building the filter. So when we say passive filters are built using the passive elements like resistors, capacitors, and inductors. So basically, in passive, we're going to use RLC, and in the active filters, we're going to employ some transistors or op-amp in addition to resistors and capacitors. So the type of element used dictates the operating frequency range for the filter. So what are the type of components that we are going to use? That will ensure the operating frequency range and the cutoff frequency or the passing nature of the particular frequency. Now, for example, RC filters, which are commonly used for audio frequency operation or for low frequency operations, and for LC, whereas LC or crystal filters that are employed at high frequencies or radio frequencies kind of thing. So this is how we can categorize the filters even with respect to the operating frequency point of view. Now here in this from this module or from this lecture onwards, we're going to analyze and design some of the analog active RC filters using op-amps. So we're going to have analog active RC using op-amp. So that will be the core agenda behind these subsequent lectures, and we're not going to use inductors as of now. We are going to restrict ourselves with respect to RC, and that's how we're going to design with some of the active filters. Now, like I was telling, active filters are those which will be having components like transistors and op-amps along with RLC. So right now I'm going to, as you can see in the figure, it has got R and C as well as the op-amp. So this clearly makes it as an active filter. Now, there are typically some of the advantages of active filters over passive filters. Right now, I'll just name them, and later on we can have a clear-cut comparison. The one being the gain and frequency adjustment flexibility, what the active filters provide is typically not found in the passive filters. So frequency adjustment flexibility is here, and there is no problem of loading, or loading effect is not there due to the usage of op-amp. I'll tell you what exactly we mean by loading effect sometime later, but as of now, you just remember no loading effect due to the usage of the op-amp for a simple reason of its high input resistance and low output resistance. We can avoid this loading effect. And when I say loading effect, we need to be knowing what exactly we mean by loading effect. That I'll try to clarify somewhere in the subsequent classes. And cost wise also, they're economical as compared to passive filters, and that's how we can summarize that the active filters are better than your passive filters. And some of the categorizations of your active filters, what we are going to learn henceforth, would be your low pass filter, high pass filter, and there is something called as band pass filter, there is called as band reject filter, and all pass filter. Now we want to understand thoroughly or in detail about one particular filter, and then we can replicate our understanding towards other filters also. So let's try to focus this entire class towards understanding this particular low pass filter. So basically, when I say low pass filter, it is going to pass the lower frequency signals. Just remember that. When I say low pass, as the name indicates, it is going to pass the lower frequency signals. And when I say high pass, it is going to pass higher frequency signals. Now you may ask the question, sir, what about high frequency signals? If I pass it in the low pass filter, what is that is going to happen to them? Straightforward, they are going to be rejected. It means that I am going to set some cutoff frequency. Cutoff frequency I am going to set. So this will be my cutoff frequency. Within this cutoff frequency, whatever are the frequencies that are coming, that we call it as a low pass or a low frequency signals. And beyond that frequency, whatever signals are coming, I am going to call it as a high frequency signals. Let's say I say FL is equal to 10 or 100 hertz. If this is my cutoff frequency, so all the frequency or all the signals having the frequency less than 100 hertz are going to be passed in through this filter, and all the signals having frequency more than 100 hertz will be rejected out of this filter, which means they are not going to be entered inside this filter. So that's the meaning of your cutoff frequency with respect to low pass. The same thing is applicable for your high pass. Exactly reverse is going to happen. In the high pass filter, I'm going to allow those signals which are having the frequencies more than FH, or the cutoff frequency of the high pass filter. So high pass filter na FH and the cutoff frequency set ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ 100 hertz ಗಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ ಇರೋ frequency I'm going to allow it. Then what about band pass filter? You may ask what exactly we mean by band pass. Now in the band pass filter, they are going to allow some band of frequencies, like here. If I consider this as F, this as F1, this as F2, and this is the gain. Now always remember, when I draw any frequency and gain graph that will be specifically with respect to these filters. So this is the band of frequencies. Within this band, only those signals will be allowed to pass through the filter. Like for example, if f1 is 10 hertz and f2 is 100 hertz, so between 10 hertz and 100 hertz are those signals which are going to be passed in through that particular filter, and such kind of filters are called as your band pass filters. And we will also see how exactly the graph of low pass frequency or low pass filter the graph looks. Similarly, we will see the high pass filters graph also. Now this is with respect to the band pass. Now what about band reject? So it is going to reject those frequency that are falling within particular band. Again, if I call these to are f1 and f2, so whatever are the frequencies that are falling within this band, they are going to be rejected in band reject filter. And what about all pass filter? All pass filter is nothing but which is going to pass every signal through them. Specifically, we don't need to require the design of a filter which is going to pass all signals, but still we design filter to pass the frequencies through the filter, because that will help us in ensuring the loading effect is avoided. Again, loading effect, you just remember, it is a kind of phenomenon which we often find when we use a complex circuitry. So that understanding of loading effect, I'll be taking up some time in the subsequent lecture. So basically, all of pass filter will pass every signal through it. Band reject will reject a band of signals. Band pass will pass a certain band of signals. High pass will pass only the higher frequency signals. Low pass filter will pass only the lower frequency signals. So that's about your the classification of your the active filters. Now again, when I say low pass filter, I can subsequently classify it as a first order and second order. So this first order and second order are basically, I think these things you might have come across in mathematics, wherein we call it as a first order differential equation, second order differential equation, and we try to identify them with respect to the square term or a cube term that are present in some of the variable. And if I want to correlate that mathematics over here, I can even say that the integration also resembles that of an ordering. So when I have only one integration, I can say it is in first order. When I say it is a dual integration, I can say it is a second order. So similarly, that entire concept I am replicating over here. So ordering ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ simple terms ನಾನು ಹೇಳಬೇಕಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ R C ಒಂದೊಂದು component ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಇತ್ತಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ I can say it is a first order filter. If R and C are more in number, like if they are 2 in number, if there are 2R and 2C, so that will result into second order filter. So in the low pass filter categorization, we are going to discuss about both first order as well as second order. And once we know the exact working of the first order, understanding the second order filter will be of very easy. Now, Butterworth is the name of a scientist who has designed these filters initially in the early 1940s, somewhere around that period, and hence the name Butterworth. First order because it has got only one R and one C, or specifically can say that there will be only one integration that is happening, or even I can say that whenever you have only one capacitor, you can say that it will be of first order. And low pass because it is going to allow only lower frequency signals to pass through it. So that is how the naming has been given to this particular filter. So let's try to understand how exactly this first order Butterworth low pass filter is going to work. Now, as you can see on your screen, figure number 1 describes clearly the circuit diagram of first order low pass filter. Now, if I have that particular circuit, and if I ask you, can you have a resemblance of this circuit with any of the previous circuit that you have learned? I can clearly say that, yes, sir, this is a clear-cut resembling of that filter or that circuit, which is of your the non-inverting amplifier. See, if I just remove this capacitor, isn't it is going to behave as a non-inverting amplifier? If it is resembling that of a non-inverting amplifier, which means I'll be having the output equation with a gain term exactly equal to that of a non-inverting amplifier. So which means I can say that my V0 will be equal to 1 plus RF by RI multiplied by VI. Definitely this is going to happen. Now the question is, what is VI now? I'm not going to consider this as VI, because if I consider this as VI, then I need to be considering the effect of capacitor also. So here the effect of capacitor is not present. So which means if I want to consider this as input voltage VI and want to write the equation, then I need to be mentioning the impact of capacitor. So which means basically I need to be calculating what is the voltage across this capacitor. That voltage will be acting as an input voltage to this op amp. So if I call this as V1, so the voltage across capacitor as V1. So the voltage Vi, whatever you are applying, has to pass through a resistance and capacitor, and finally whatever is the voltage drop that is happening across the capacitor, that will be my voltage that is entering your op amp. So in that scenario, my input voltage will be V1 and it will not be Vi. Vi is the input voltage for this entire circuit. Again, remember, when I talk about input voltage, your first question should be whether you are asking the input voltage with respect to op amp device, or whether you are asking the input voltage with respect to op amp circuit. If I say what is the input voltage of the op amp circuit, you just look at the extreme left end where you are applying the input voltage. That will be the input voltage for the entire circuit. But I am here bothered about what is the input voltage for my op amp device. So that is where exactly the voltage is getting entering, or where exactly the voltage is getting applied to the op amp. ಆ voltage na ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು ನಾನು. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ನನಗೆ ಯಾವ voltage ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ? It is V1. So V1 is the voltage that is getting applied to the op amp device without any component between these two terminals. ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ನಾನ್ ಇನ್ವರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಟರ್ಮಿನಲ್ ಮತ್ತು ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ ವೋಲ್ಟೇಜ್ ನಡುವೆ ಅಥವಾ this V1 ನಡುವೆ ಯಾವುದು ಕಾಂಪೋನೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. So which means if I know the voltage across the capacitance, so that will be my voltage that is entering into the op amp. So my input voltage is V1. Now the question is, how do I find V1? Now if I ask the same question, if this would have been R, or let's say R2. If R2 ಆಗಿತ್ತಪ್ಪ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, if I ask you the same question, find the voltage across R2, then your answer would have been voltage division rule. Voltage division rule ಏನು ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ? ಯಾವ resistance across voltage ತಗೋಬೇಕು ಅದನ್ನ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಬರೀತೀನಿ, R2 divided by the combination of the resistance whole multiplied by the input voltage which is getting applied to both of these resistance. ಇದನ್ನ ಬರೀತಿದ್ದೆ. But the problem now is, it is not R here, it is rather C. Which means I'll be applying the voltage division rule only, but in the place of resistance, I'll be replacing it with a capacitance. So if there is a capacitance being involved, then I'll not be calling it as a resistance, I'll be calling it as an impedance. So capacitive reactance, inductive reactance, I think you might have heard of these terms. Whenever I want to calculate the resistance across the capacitor or resistance through the capacitor, then I won't be using the term resistance, rather I will be using the term impedance. And impedance of the C is represented by the term XC. And similarly, impedance of the that is being given by the inductor is given by XL. So right now inductor is not there, let us not worry about it. So impedance, so now XC, so this is XC. So let's try to calculate the voltage across the capacitor by applying the voltage division formula. Rule is simple, same thing. ಯಾವ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಕ್ರಾಸ್ ನೀವು ವೋಲ್ಟೇಜ್ ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿಯಬೇಕಂತ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನ್ಯೂಮರೇಟರ್ ನ ಬರಬೇಕು. So the thing is, I'll just write voltage across capacitor is given by 1 upon SC whole divided by R plus 1 upon SC. whole multiplied by V of I of S. Now, since the capacitor is going to behave as a charging component, or it is a dynamic element which is going to be charged and discharged, and because of that there is a term coming into picture. Yes, S is used usually. I think you might have used this in the Laplace transforms in your mathematics, or I insist you just remember this also, how this 1 by SC is coming into picture. So 1 by SC is nothing but the impedance given by the capacitor, just how you used to write about R. So these concepts maybe I'll try to clarify in the subsequent class. Again, I don't want to waste my entire time in deriving the 1 by SC hang on to other deriving mode of data. Let us try to move ahead. In the immediately next class, I'm going to show you 1 by SC hang on to, right? So this is in the place of R. So R is again ಬರ್ತಿದ್ರಿ, other term ಇಲ್ಲಿ C is the 1 by SC ಬರ್ದ್ರಿ. Then divided by the combination of these two terms. One is R, the other is 1 by SC, multiplied by Vi of S. This is whole of this whole input voltage. So similarly, in the above equation also, I'm going to mention the Laplace term V of S, Vi of S. Fine. So this is voltage across the capacitor. Now, if I solve this, what is that I'm going to get? 1 by SC whole divided by LCM SRC plus 1 divided by SC. This is the voltage across the capacitor, and what is the voltage across the capacitor is named as V1. So V1 is given by this entire thing. So SC cancels out, and what is that I'm going to get? I'm going to get V1 is equal to 1 divided by 1 plus SRC. So this is my, let me call it as equation 1, right? So now what will be the output voltage equation? Output voltage equation is given by the entire gain term, that is the gain of the non-inverting amplifier, multiplied by the input voltage for this op amp. For this op amp, what is the input voltage? V1, and you know what is the equation for V1. So my, we call this as equation 2. So from 1, VO of S is given by 1 plus RF by RI multiplied by V1 of S. So this is basically V1 of S. 1 by 1 plus SRC. So this is will be this whatever equation you are seeing, equation number 3 is my output voltage after the signal passes to the op amp, and this will be how my filter is going to behave. Now from this equation, I'm going to get some information, like, because earlier I told this is the filter and it should behave like it should pass certain lower frequency signals and it should block the higher frequency signals. How is that it is going to behave? Fine. Now let's try to understand what is that. I forgot. This has to be multiplied by V of S, right? ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ voltage across capacitor is given by this entire term multiplied by Vi of S. You can simplify ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ Vi of S will remain as it is. So this is what is my equation. Now let me bring this Vi of S down below this VO of S. So this is what will be my equation. So final equation is this: VO of S divided by Vi of S is equal to 1 plus RF by R1 multiplied by 1 divided by 1 plus SRC. So let's try to give this entire thing different picture. Now I know that 1 plus RF by Ri is nothing but the gain of this non-inverting amplifier. So let me rub out this. I'll rub even this circuit. So VO by Vi, I am going to represent it by the term H of S. Whenever we try to represent a certain S terms, in that scenario, I'm going to call the output by input by the name transfer function. Even that is called by the name gain, but here since I am working out with respect to the filter, I am going to call it as a transfer function rather than gain. And what is 1 plus RF by RI? 1 plus RF by RI is nothing but the gain of the non-inverting amplifier represented by AF. The entire term is AF multiplied by 1 plus 1 divided by 1 plus SRC. This can be given by AF divided by 1 plus SRC. This is what is that I'm going to get. Now from here onwards, let me break down this S term. S is usually given by the term. It is my frequency component, which usually I try to represent by the term J omega. And further, if I break it down, if I'm going to represent let or I'll just represent omega in terms of frequency, because since I'm dealing with the frequency, that's the reason I introduced that S term. 1 plus J omega is given by 2 pi F into RC. Look how your entire equation from here, it is getting transformed to the way how I am writing now. So AF divided by 1 plus J 2 pi FRC. J omega is because of this S term. Omega is being replaced by 2 pi F. RC is as it is. AF is because 1 plus RF by RI, I am replacing it by AF. So this, let me call let 2 pi RC is represented by the term 1 by FH. Right? Or two pi FH is given by 1 by RC. And by the way, what is 2 pi F? 2 pi F is represented in the terms of omega. So I can represent this as omega H equal to 1 by RC. Athwa FH equal to 1 divided by 2 pi RC. All these are interlinked. Only difference is I am once I am writing in terms of omega, once I am writing in terms of FH. So omega H or FH is given by, or it is directly proportional to 1 by RC. So what is FH over here? FH is nothing but your higher cutoff frequency, or the cutoff frequency which I was mentioning earlier. So when we try to understand the filter operation, I told there should be one particular frequency beyond which the signal should be rejected. So that is represented by this FH. How I obtained it? I just replaced 2 pi RC by the term 1 by FH. And 1 by FH is nothing but your omega H. So because 1 by F is nothing but your omega, I can write in terms of that. In terms of time also I can write. And FH here, I push over here, that makes 2 pi FH equal to 1 by RC. FH again, or 2 pi FH can be written as omega H. So omega H is equal to 1 by RC. So this is what exactly the equation I'm going to obtain. So ultimately, if I just look over here from this equation, so this now will become H of S equal to AF divided by 1 plus J, I'll let it as it is. What was your FH value you wrote? So you have written 2 pi RC as FH, and F is already present over here. So can I write F divided by FH? So the equation, whatever you are seeing over here, the equation marked a star. What I did over here, just I replaced 2 pi RC by 1 by FH. Urkit components are here. So basically, the transfer function has taken the form AF divided by 1 plus JF divided by FH. If I could write this entire thing once again over here clearly, H of S is given by AF divided by 1 plus JF divided by FH. F is the frequency of the signal what you have applied. FH is the cutoff frequency beyond which the signal won't be passed. If this is the scenario, my graph would look something like this. And the point at which the gain starts decreasing. Why gain start decreasing? Because beyond certain frequency, which is nothing but your cutoff frequency represented by FH, the signals won't be passed. Signal correct ಆಗಿ ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಯ್ತಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನನ್ನ ಗೇನ್ ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕಲಿ ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So that's the reason my graph is coming down like this. So before FH, whatever are the frequency are your pass band, and after your FH, they are your top band signals. So simple. Nandu H of S and it is nothing but V of S by Vi of S. ಹೌದಾ? ಸೊ ಯಾವಾಗ ನನಗ FH ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾವ, ನನ್ನ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕಲಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸಿಂಗ್. ಯಾವಾಗ ನನಗೆ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕಲಿ H of S also starts to decrease, and that's the reason H of S or the gain has started to decrease. So the frequency at which the gain starts decreasing is nothing but your higher cutoff frequency or threshold frequency antivi, or break frequency antivi, or corner frequency antivi. We call it by different names. Higher cutoff frequency. So this is how my op-amp with RC components connected together is going to behave as a low pass first order Butterworth filter. So basically, if I want to summarize this now, at F less than FH, output by input will be almost equal to A of F. A of F is the highest gain that is being offered by the op-amp. That is 1 plus RF by RL. So meaning, ನನ್ನ ಯಾವಾಗ input frequency highest cutoff frequency ಗಿಂತ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರ್ತಾವ, ನನ್ನ gain ಹೆಂಗಿರ್ತದಪ್ಪ, it will be highest. So up to this particular band of frequency, my gain will be constant. So this particular frequency band is called as pass band. At F equal to FH, exactly at this, suppose ನಿಮ್ಮ signal ಏನದಲ್ಲ input signal, it is exactly equal to the threshold frequency or highest cutoff frequency. Our time naga, the gain has started to decrement. And as you can see, if I even plot it graphically, the same thing I'm going to explain in my subsequent class. If I'm just going to plot my equation in the graph, at F equal to FH, my output by input voltage gain will be AF divided by root 2 ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ it will be 0.707 times AF. So ಈ particular value decrease ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So gain ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಟ್ಟ A ಇರುತ್ತೆ, exactly at F equal to FH ಅಥವಾ F greater than FH ನಾಗಂತೂ ಇದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. So exactly at F equal to FH, cut off frequency ಅಥವಾ highest threshold frequency ಅಥವಾ break frequency ಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ input signal frequency match ಆಯ್ತಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅವಾಗ ನಮ್ದು gain will be exactly 0.707 times the maximum gain. So this particular point at which the gain is going to decrease, so is also termed by this particular highest cutoff frequency. You can say the definition of FH is that particular frequency at which his gain is going to decrease by or decrease to 0.707 times AF. So beyond FH, the gain is going to completely decrement. So when the frequency, if I say that if I increase the frequency by 10-fold, the voltage gain is divided by 10, or in other words, the gain is going to decrease by 20 dB per decade in increase in the frequency. If I talk in terms of dB and frequencies, ಯಾವಾಗ ನಾನು frequency 10-fold increase ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಗ್ರಾಫ್ ಹೆಂಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ frequency graph, it will be graph of 10-10 box. So now 10-fold frequency increase ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂತ ಹೋದಾಗ gain will be rolled to 20 dB per decade. Decade ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ for every 10 time increase in frequency, gain will be rolled out to 20 dB. So this is all this particular 0.707 times A, if I want to talk in terms of actual number. So I'm going to tell you how exactly the gain is going to decrease with the help of the graph sheet also. So, but now you are supposed to remember at F equal to FH, the gain is going to decrease by 20 dB per decade. So this is how you are going to describe the frequency operation of your filter. And if I want to talk about the phase angle about, or if I want to represent the magnitude, the gain magnitude, since these are in the form of A plus IB polar form. So if I want to find the magnitude of the polar form equation, I just write A square plus B square under root of A square plus B square, and other name I'm going to apply for this. If I want to identify the gain magnitude of this particular equation, so V naught by Vi, the magnitude is given by AF term will going to remain as it is because it is in non-polar form. Below term is represented as 1 plus F by Fh whole square, that is A square plus B square. So hingididdanu nanu, if I want to represent in the magnitude form, I am going to represent it as under root of A square plus B square. So A other 1 other, B jagadaga F by Fh other. So I am going to represent it in terms of gain magnitude as this. And if I want to represent the phase angle as phi, it is given by minus tan inverse of F divided by Fh. So that will be the phase angle at which the filter is going to behave in terms of angle deviation. So this is about your magnitude, and this is about your angle, and this is about your voltage gain equation or transfer function given by AF divided by 1 plus J multiplied by F divided by Fh, and this is about your graph. It is going to roll off by 20 dB for every increase in the, for every 10 times increase in the frequency, and below Fh all the frequencies are going to be passed, above Fh all the frequencies are going to be rejected. So this is all about your first order Butterworth low pass filter derivation. So once we are done with this, now let's just move on to solve one simple equation, and we'll try to understand how exactly we are going to select the components to design the filter. So let's try to understand this one particular numerical. Now, how do I design the filter? Now I know if I have R, C, all those things, now I can understand this is how I can behave. Now let's try to understand. There is a one problem, example 7.1, page number 256. Okay, the thing is what he says, design a low pass filter, design LPF, a short form, at cutoff frequency of 1 kilohertz and with the passband gain of 2. So this is my problem statement, simple. Now I need to follow some design steps. So in order to follow the design step, I need to be understanding what are the things that have been given. So the given components are Fh he has given 1 kilohertz. Now since I require both R and C, so what is basically my equation of the gain? Gain equation was AF divided by 1 plus J times F by Fh, or magnitude calculate ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ AF divided by under root of 1 plus F by Fh whole square. So ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ನಾನು previous equation ನ ಹೋಗೋದಾದ್ರೆ, if I just move on to the previous equation before that, so basically I require VO by VI is given by 1 plus RF by RI multiplied, this is my gain of the op amp, 1 divided by 1 plus SRC. So I require R and C. So here, has he given R and C? No, he hasn't given any R or any C. So how do I calculate R and C now? So R and C can be calculated by the term. If I know one particular value, either C or R, I can calculate the other value. So preferably assume always capacitor. So let's try to assume the capacitor in terms of microfarad. So let C be 0.01 microfarad. And earlier I have told you the equation for your FH. FH equation is 1 divided by 2 pi RC. Try to remember this. So if I know the equation for FH, So it has got the component R and C. Now I have assumed C, then it will be easy for me to calculate R because he has given FH. So what will be the R value now? It will be 1 divided by 2 pi FH into C. If I solve this, this will be 1 divided by 2 pi FH est kotana 1 kilohertz kotana. C est assume mandini 0.01 microfarad assume mandini, and if I just try to solve it, I'm using the calculator. If I just solve it, 1 divided by 2 pi into 10 raised to 3 into 0.01 microfarad and the rest of 10 raised to minus 8. So altogether it is going to come to as 15.9 kilo ohm. And because I don't have any specific resistance of that nature, it is not easy to obtain 15.9 kilo ohm of resistance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it as nearly about 16k. Athwa en martini, I'll use a 20k pot and try to adjust my frequency somewhere around to 15.9 or 16 kilohertz. So this is how I obtained RC and I know FH. Then since he has asked me to design, so I can be using an op-amp, and I just replace all the components with a specified value of the component. So what was my component? And on the op-amp ಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು ನನಗೆ R1 resistance of the feedback resistance that I know I'll take it, and I require the C is what's 0.01 microfarad, and I require, this is a potentiometer, this is what is your 15.9, and here I'm going to apply the input. So this is how my circuit looks. So this is how I have designed the circuit. Now what is that he is asking? One thing he has given, the passband gain is of 2. Now I know this resistance, I know this capacitance. What about R1, Ri and Rf? I cannot be even assuming that. So to identify or to obtain that, I should make use of this particular aspect what he has given with a passband gain of 2. Hang upon, I'll just drop this out. So what is the gain of this entire op-amp? It is 1 plus Rf by Ri. This is my passband gain. Passband gain ಅಂತಂದ್ರೇನು ಎಷ್ಟರ ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ ಅದರ ಗೇನ್ ಏನು, so which means the gain of the op-amp. So he has given the gain of the op-amp 1 plus Rf by Ri is equal to 2. If this is the case, what will be Rf by Ri then? It will be 1, and in turn that makes Rf is equal to Ri. So if you know that Rf and Ri both are equal, then you can choose any particular value for your Rf and Ri, preferably 10k and 10k. So this is how you're going to design your entire low pass filter given only the cutoff frequency and the gain. Il baki ಎರಡು term bit ಏನು components ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ. See, those who are unaware of this frequency designing aspect of this low pass filter, or those who are totally unaware of designing this low pass filter concept, will feel that this is very tricky problem. But this is very easiest problem because you need to be understanding the concept. ಒಂದೇದು FH ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ನನಗೆ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು. FH ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ನಾನು, FH is equal to 1 by 2 pi RC. This is one formula you should remember. And passband gain is nothing but the gain of your non-inverting amplifier what you are used over here, right? So this is, if you know these two terms, you equate the passband gain to the gain equation, and accordingly you get some values. Here obviously you can assume the values, same value for Rf and Ri. Once you obtain these things, you have to find R and C of this filter component. Since both are unknown, let us assume C is assumed as 0.01 microfarad. Always try to assume in terms of microfarad, and we'll try to see what happens if I change this C and R. What is that is going to behave, or how it is going to impact the filter. We'll try to see that. So if I do that, FH will be given, so I'm going to get R. Once I know every component, I can design the circuit. Now for this kind of problem, your answer should be 1, you should get the values. The second, we will be expecting this circuit. This circuit is very, very important with values. But a circuit along with the values, you should be writing down the circuit. So this is how one can obtain the low pass filter with the two design values. Now one last thing. Now let's say if I want to change the cutoff frequency itself. Now for the same thing, if he wants to or if he says that convert the 1 kilohertz cutoff frequency of the low pass filter which you have designed over here to, let's say, 1.6 kilohertz. ಈಗಪ್ಪ let's say ಇದೆಲ್ಲ filter design ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. Now immediately the designer will come and he says, no boss, I just want, instead of 1 kilohertz, I want 1.6 kilohertz as cutoff frequency. Then are you going to redesign the entire thing? No, I am going to apply the concept called as frequency scaling concept. Frequency scaling concept apply ಮಾಡಿದ್ನಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು redesign ಮಾಡೋ ನೆಸೆಸರಿನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, to change the cutoff frequency from 1k to 1.6k, what I am going to do is I am going to multiply R or C with what? With this particular term, original cutoff frequency divided by new FH. Don't multiply both R and C with this particular term. So ಏನಪ್ಪ ಇದರ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಏನು? So the agenda is what? The other problem. This is nothing but one more problem. ಏನಂತಾನ, ಹಳೆ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ನಾಗ ಕಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ 1 ಕಿಲೋಹರ್ಟ್ಜ್ ಇತ್ತು, ನಾವು ಯು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಇಟ್ ಟು 1.6 ಕಿಲೋಹರ್ಟ್ಜ್. ನಾ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಫಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಒರಿಜಿನಲ್ ಕಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ. ಒರಿಜಿನಲ್ ಕಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ಎಷ್ಟಿತ್ತು? 1 ಕಿಲೋಹರ್ಟ್ಜ್. ನ್ಯೂ ಕಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕೊಟ್ಟಾನ? 1.6 ಕಿಲೋಹರ್ಟ್ಜ್. If I do this simplification, I am going to get this somewhere around as, let me calculate it using the calculator. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, I think video is visible, or is it getting stuck? Okay, I'll just explain it over here. I'll just explain it over here. What we are going to do over here is original cutoff frequency divided by new cutoff frequency. Whatever value I am going to get, you just multiply that with the either resistance or capacitance. So that will change your entire design to a newer cutoff frequency. So I'll try to solve this problem once again in the next class. So this is how I just wanted to talk to you in terms of the cutoff frequencies and low pass filter design. What we have understood here is the complete design aspect of the Butterworth low pass filter, and how we can solve the numericals and how the design perspective it is going to work. So with this, we'll try to wind up this today's session, and we're going to continue in the subsequent class. If possible, we'll try to have one extra class today. I'll try to intimate, or else I'll not take the class. Whatever may be the reason, I'll try to intimate you. So we'll stop it over here, and we can continue it in the next class. So try to give the attendance. Attendance link has been enabled. The code is 2282. The code is 2282. So we'll stop it over here, and we can continue in the next class. 2282 is the code. Try to give the attendance. And if you are done with the attendance, you can exit from the class. Whatever may be the reason, like whether I am going to take the class or not, I am going to intimate in the group. Please try to ensure the same amount of attendance is being retained, because if I cover up these few concepts, the next things will be very easy to understand and very easy to cover up the things. 2282 is the attendance code. Try to give the attendance. Okay, thank you for your patience listening. So if you are done with your attendance, you can exit from the class, so we can meet in the next class. Thank you.